Thanks for joining another edition of The Catch Up. I am James Lynch. She is Cris Cyborg. Cris, how are you this afternoon?
I'm great. Always great. Very excited for next step.
Yes, always great catching up with you. That is the name of the show. And like always, got to remind you guys and girls out there to make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and tell your friends. This is, we're a couple episodes in, more than a couple, I should say, and really appreciating all the feedback and everyone sharing the content. It's been really awesome getting to do this show every week. But let's get right into it. We had a UFC card last weekend. Alistair Overeem, someone that you got to fight alongside in Strikeforce, picked up a pretty big win on the in the main event of UFC Fight Night, getting that TKO finish over Augusto Sakai. What do you think about the Reem still winning fights at 40 years old?
You know, for me, it's no surprise. It's keep you winning 40 years old. What surprised me is over 20 years, he's top 10 at heavyweight. And still 20 years later, he's top 5. This is really surprised me. I remember Overeem from K1, Strikeforce Pride, and it's a huge name in the keep doing difference in the heavyweight division.
Can you believe he's been fighting since 1999? That is kind of crazy if you think about it.
Yes, I started fight 2005. It's a long time fighting. It's a long time.
Yeah, and it's cool to see both of you still competing at a very high level. Now, I always tell people on this show, make sure you're following Cris on Instagram at Cris Cyborg. And I noticed there was a photo with you and should we call him former? I don't know what we call him now. He's retired, but Henry Cejudo, the double champ. I saw a photo with you and him. Did you guys get to train together, or was that just sort of you guys hanging out?
No, first time I met Cejudo before in Mexico when Verdun getting ready for fight Cain Velasquez. And he won, then he beat Cain that time. And then we trained together over there a little bit. And I meet Cejudo, he's a very nice guy. And he went to here to King's MMA and he teach some wrestling for people getting ready for the fight. And you know, there's something very nice. Cejudo is not just a great fighter, but he's a great coach. He's like to teach and he's teach very well. And you know, we have fun together, learn a lot about wrestling.
And there's another connection to you and Henry Cejudo. I saw on the Joe Rogan podcast when Henry Cejudo was on there, he was talking about stem cells. Bioxcellerator was something that comes from Colombia. I know was talking all about that. And I noticed you had their logo on your fight shorts for your last fight. Have you used stem cells before? I imagine if you're sponsored by them, you probably have.
Yeah, I went together both to Colombia and we worked with Bioxcellerator, and I have a lot of little injuries, and I went over there. We did the full treatment, and I feel great. After, I know a lot of people don't know about stem cells, but I have a lot of little injuries from all my career, and then I did the stem cells, and I feel great. You know, I wake up no different, not have the same pain before, and a lot of injuries gone, and I feel great. I'm looking for a comeback, you know, after my next fight. I did the treatment 1 year ago.
1 year? Okay, interesting. Because I've heard a lot of good things about stem cells from other professional athletes. You hear it in the news and stuff. Do you think fighters are becoming more warm to the idea? Because I know with MMA, it's not as common. You hear people using stem cell, treatment.
You know, because I think it's very, we need to take care of our body. And then we train it too much and there is no healthy. You know, everybody says healthy training. No, yes, a little bit walking every day, maybe a little jogging, but train like we train every day, 6 hours a day. I think we need a recovery, you know, for can continue work with your body. And then, you know, in Colombia, stem cells is number one, you know, the place I went as a Bioxcellerator, number one in the world. I think should the guys go search more and get the opportunity to go over there and take care of the injury.
How did you feel after getting the stem cell treatment? Because I heard for a lot of athletes, it's kind of game changing to a certain degree. Like they just feel so much better.
You know, I have a lot of struggles in my wrist, and all the time my wrist come out before. And I put stem cells in a lot of places, shoulders, I put in the wrist, the knees, the ankles, everywhere. And it really helped me a lot. I don't have the same pain before. I don't have any problem with my wrist anymore.
It's great to hear. And we got a lot of action coming up this weekend. We got 2 Bellator cards. I love how they do the back-to-back cards. It's always getting you your fill of Bellator. But we talked about last week, Bellator 245. We've got Kat Zingano taking on Gabrielle Holloway. But we also have this other fight, which they added, which is Leslie Smith taking on Amanda Bell in your division. Again, great to see Bellator adding more featherweight fights here. But what do you think of that matchup? Because, again, this could be another opponent you could be facing down the line. And in the case of Smith, you've already fought her, so that's kind of interesting.
Hey, this is very good fight, you know. Amanda Bell, she's punched really hard, and the Leslie Smith is just top 10, 135 for a long time, and she's coming out for 145. and they're going to be great fight. I'm going to be with, I believe, Leslie Smith because she's have a lot of experience. She fight the biggest event, and Amanda Bell punch really hard. And I believe they're going to be excited fight for 145 pounds, and very, very happy about this.
Yes, I would agree with you there on the pick. I'm also going to take Leslie Smith, but I will mention this. Amanda Bell is like a true and true featherweight. Like, it's not like she's coming up from 135. She's fought at featherweight most of her career, so that can be a little dangerous. We'll see in the matchup, but that's why I like the matchmaking here, because you got a veteran in Leslie Smith taking on someone in Bell who has less fights, but is actually a true featherweight, so excited for that one. And then on Saturday, we got a big fight, not in your division, but a pretty intriguing fight between Liz Carmouch and Deanna Bennett. I'm really excited for this one. Two fighters, former UFC fighters, coming over to Bellator, adding some name value to that division. What do you think about that matchup? I'm really excited for that one.
Liz Carmouch, her last fight in UFC, she fought for the title, and she, have great fights in UFC. And Bennett, she's fighting good girls in Invicta. It's gonna be very great fight, and I'm happy, UFC, Bellator can get invest a lot of girls, and big girls, big names coming to Bellator, and it's gonna be an exciting fight. Same with the Leslie.
And pretty interesting what happened to Liz leaving the UFC. I'm sure you heard that, they had her booked for a guest tour, and then just in the middle of the guest tour, they're like, by the way, you're not with the promotion anymore. But here's the kicker, Chris. I found this so interesting when I spoke to Liz last week. The UFC wanted her to fight at featherweight. Did you know that? How crazy is that she's fighting at 125, but the UFC said, hey, we'll give you a fight, but it's got to be at 145, fighting someone like you potentially. How crazy is that?
The first thing, if you're a featherweight, if you hear about the story, okay, they're asking for the flyweight going to featherweight, what are you going to think about? Man, I'm not going to resign deals with this event because you're going to have a fight. You're asking for girls 125 coming to 145 for you can have a fight. And it's not fair with her either. She's her division. It's not nice to go up too. And about it's about the what then release her. I believe she's deal very well, because she's in the hospital, visit children, and then she received this message, getting released. I think she did very professional, and it's something I always think about. When bad things happen, have one reason, you have good things behind. And I believe after she start to work with Scott Coker and the Bellator, she's going to see they make one favor for her. She's going to be welcome to Bellator. She's going to be happy. And I don't think it's right what UFC did, but they don't surprise me, but I believe she's going to be a great fight, and she's a great fighter, and she's going to be a lot of success in the work of Scott Coker.
And kind of interesting, too, if she ends up winning this fight, because we're getting one step closer to her potentially fighting her teammate, Ilima-Lei Macfarlane, for the title. So I'm pretty interested by that. But they're cool with it. I talked to Liz. She's like, look, we've had the talk. If Ilima-Lei and I have to fight, so be it. You don't see that often in MMA. So I give Liz credit for that, too, because really that's the ultimate goal for her, is fighting her teammate who's the champion. What do you think of that?
Man, this is crazy. But, hate your opponent. But between them both, they know who's stronger at what point and strong. It's gonna be very interesting fight. I didn't know about this too, but it's gonna be interesting fight because if they train together, they know what's point they're strong each other, and who's the surprise, who's change your game a little bit and win this fight.
Seems like every week we're talking about a big free agent signing for Bellator, and this week they picked up another one, Vanessa Porto, someone who I know you fought early in your career. It was actually the first one of your career back in 2005. Tell me about that experience of getting to fight her, and how do you think she'll do in Bellator's flyweight division?
No, I'm really happy for Vanessa. We will fight together, a long time ago, 2006, and we did the first main event in Brazil, the women's, and an amazing fight. We can do soccer kick, stomp them in the face. It's a crazy fight. And, I'm happy she have the opportunity to fight in Bellator. And I think she's going to be the great fight over there. And she has the potential for do great. And I'm happy Bellator looking for nice talent coming and new signing girls and make a great, better event too.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting to see some of these newer fighters that they've signed fight in a little bit here. We have Corey Anderson and Porto and just so many options right now in Bellator. It's really an exciting time. As we usually do here on the show, I got to learn some more Portuguese. Last week, I did a decent job. This week, I know if I go to Brazil, it's going to be really hot. I'm going to get dehydrated. I need to make sure I'm keeping up with my water. So how do you say, can I have a glass of water?
Posso.
Bosso?
Posso.
Fosso?
No, posso. P-O.
Oh, posso.
Posso ter
um copo
de água.
de água.
De água. Posso ter um copo de água.
Oh man, that's a tough one, but that's why I watch these back. So I'll try it one more time. So it is sorry, how do you say the first part again?
Posso
ter
copo de água.
Copo de água.
Isso. Perfect.
Isso. Perfect. See, I told you, I'm getting better at this, Cris. You're a great teacher.
Yes.
I really appreciate it. And the good news is if I ever go to Brazil, I'm not going to be thirsty, right? Because I'll know how to say that. So that's very important. Before we go, I know I bug you every week, but are we any closer to announcing any fight news? I feel like we're getting close. If not this week, I'm sure we're going to find out soon. But anything you can announce right now?
Okay, the good thing, I just signed the contract for my next fight. And I cannot tell you who, when, and where. What I'm telling you is going to be very exciting fight for my fans. And I'm very happy and wait to Bellator to announce my next fight. And the guys are going to be very excited.
I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully we'll get a date here soon. I know it's coming up closer, but we got to obviously wait until everything is 100% official. But that's good, the contract signed. That's the main thing here. Cris, always great catching up with you every week. Again, to our audience, really want to thank you for all the support. Like I said, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share the content if you can. We're always looking to improve the show. And if you guys have any ideas for the show, any topics you want us to cover, we're more than happy to tackle it every single week here on The Catch Up. I am James Lynch. She is Cris Cyborg. Cris, if you got anything you want to plug at the end, the floor is yours.
Hey guys, make sure to follow me. Soon going to be the news, and you guys are going to be excited to follow me. My YouTube channel, I always put in new videos. You can follow me, subscribe, and be in touch with each other more time. And see you next time. Thank you, James.